I died, choking on my own blood. The metallic tang flooding my mouth as Ethan's hands, my brother's hands, pressed the pillow down over my face one final time. The last thing I saw was his eyes. Cold as the marble floors of that Georgetown brownstone we'd inherited from Dad. Whispering, "This is for the family. Bella. You understand." But I didn't. Not then. And as the world faded to black, I clawed at the sheets, screaming silently for the justice I'd never gotten. When I gasped awake, it wasn't in some ethereal void or Pulley Gates bullshit. No. It was right back in my old DuPont Circle apartment, the one with the leaky faucet and the view of protesters clashing outside the White House on a crisp October morning in 2023. My heart hammered like a jackrabbit on meth, and I bolted upright, sheets tangled around me like restraints. The clock on my nightstand blinked 7:14 a.m., exactly 3 months before that fateful night. Before Ethan sold me out to the feds. Before he framed me for embezzling from our family's political PAC. Before he smothered me in my sleep to tie up loose ends. I was 28 again, alive. And the son of a bitch had no idea the storm he'd unleashed was about to blow back in his face. I stumbled to the bathroom mirror, splashing cold water on my face, staring at the reflection that hadn't aged a day since the betrayal. Same sharp cheekbones, same cascade of dark waves I'd always hated for making me look too much like Mom, the one who'd OD'd on pills after Dad's accident, that Ethan had covered up. Yeah, that secret. The one I'd carried like a goddamn anchor since we were kids. Dad's car wreck on the Beltway? Not an accident. Ethan, 16 and reckless, high on stolen oxy from Dad's medicine cabinet, had swerved into oncoming traffic during a fight. Dad took the hit to protect him, shielded the wheel, ate the crash. I was 14, piecing it together from the skid marks and Ethan's bloodshot eyes at the funeral. But family sticks, right? So I buried it, lied to the cops, forged the grief-stricken daughter role. Ethan got the inheritance, the connections, the golden boy path to Capitol Hill. I got the scraps and the guilt. But now I had foreknowledge like a loaded Glock in my purse. 3 months to unravel his web, expose the rot, and make him pay without dragging the whole Kensington name through the mud. Or maybe I would. Controversy be damned, this was my second shot. And I wasn't playing nice anymore. I grabbed my phone, scrolling through texts from that morning in my timeline. There it was, Ethan's invite to the family brunch at the Hay Adams, where he'd pitched me on joining his Senate campaign as the loyal sister prop. Last time, I'd said yes. Blind trust leading straight to my downfall. This time, fuck that. I texted back, "Can't make it. Big meeting downtown. Catch you later." Then I blocked his ass temporarily, baby steps. Showered, suited up in my power armor, a tailored black blazer over a silk blouse that screamed, "Don't fuck with me," I hit the streets of D.C. The air buzzed with that eternal hum of ambition, lobbyists and loafers hustling toward K Street, baristas slinging overpriced lattes to hungover Hill staffers. I grabbed a black coffee from a corner cart and headed to my real estate agent's office. See? In the original timeline, I'd sunk my savings into that Georgetown brownstone flip, only for Ethan to sabotage the deal and pin the losses on me. This round, I was flipping the script. Literally. "Arabella Kensington," I said to the receptionist, flashing my most predatory smile. "Here for the Potomac Penthouse viewing." She buzzed me in, and there he was, slick-haired Todd with his man bun and artisanal cologne, leading me to the glass elevator that shot up 30 stories like a middle finger to gravity. The place was obscene, floor-to-ceiling windows framing the Jefferson Memorial at dawn. Italian marble counters gleaming under recessed lights. A balcony begging for late-night Scotch sessions with the kind of power players who could make or break careers. Price tag? $8 million. My net worth? Barely $2 million after taxes. But I had a plan. "I'll take it," I said, before Todd could even launch into a spiel about urban oasis, or whatever realtor voodoo they peddle. He blinked, adjusting his skinny tie. "MS. Kensington. That's bold. We haven't discussed financing. Cash offer. Full ask. But I close in 30 days. I slid a check across the island, my emergency fund, liquidated overnight via a shady app I discovered in my past life. Risky? Hell yes. But desperation breeds innovation. And I needed leverage. Owning prime DC real estate? That's a chit in this town bigger than a senator's Rolodex. Word spread like wildfire through the family grapevine. By noon, my phone was blowing up not from Ethan, but from cousin Lila, the socialite leech who'd married into old Virginia money. "Bella. WTF? A penthouse? Ethan's gonna lose his shit." Yeah, he would. And that was the point. I spent the afternoon in a haze of paperwork and spite-fueled daydreams. But reality crashed in when I got the call from the PAC accountant. "MS. Kensington? There's irregularity in the donor logs. Your brothers flagged some transfers under your name." There was the first thread. In the old timeline, those irregularities were Ethan's slush fund for buying votes in the primary, funneled through dummy accounts he'd forged with my signature. I discovered it too late, confronted him, and woke up dead. This time, I played dumb. "Oh, send me the files. I'll look into it." By evening, I was holed up in a dive bar off U Street, nursing a bourbon neat while poring over spreadsheets on my laptop. The numbers screamed fraud, $250,000 vanishing into offshore shells tied to Ethan's campaign donors, big oil execs and pharma lobbyists who'd get front-row seats to deregulation if he won. And there, buried in the metadata, my digital fingerprints, planted like landmines. Rage boiled low in my gut, but I tamped it down. Revenge wasn't a sprint. It was a marathon through DC's swamp, knee-deep in bullshit and backroom deals. I needed allies. First call, Javier, my old law school buddy turned DOJ prosecutor. The one I'd ghosted after Ethan warned me he was unreliable. Last life. That cost me everything. "Javi, it's Bella. Beers tomorrow? Got a story that'll make your hair curl." His laugh crackled through the line. "Kensington? Thought you went corporate." "Yeah, I'm in. But if it's Ethan-related, I'm bringing popcorn." We met at a nondescript Irish pub in Foggy Bottom, the kind where secrets stick to the wood paneling like spilled Guinness. Javi slid into the booth, his tie loosened, eyes sharp as a switchblade. "Spill. And make it good." I got a deposition at dawn. I laid it out, the faked logs, the slush fund, Ethan's puppet strings on the pack. Omitted the death part. Of course, that'd land me in a psych ward faster than you can say. Delusions of grandeur. Javi whistled low, tracing a finger down the printouts I'd brought. "This is dynamite, Bella. But tying it to Kensington? Your brother's got half the hill in his pocket. You sure you want to burn that bridge?" "Bridges are for crossing," I said, clinking my glass to his. "Not hiding under." He nodded, but there was caution in his eyes, the kind born from too many whistleblowers ending up suicided in Georgetown. We plodded late into the night, anonymous tips to the FEC, back-channel leaks to Politico, maybe even a ghostwriter for an op-ed under a pseudonym. But as the whiskey loosened my tongue, I let slip the Penthouse buy. Javi's eyebrows shot up. 8 mil? On what? Lotto winnings. Something like that. I smirked. But inside, the hook twisted deeper. Buying that place wasn't just flex, it was bait. Ethan thrived on control, on being the family's crown prince. Me, the overlooked sister, snatching a slice of the empire, it'd rattle him, make him sloppy. And sloppy men make mistakes. Sure enough, as I Ubered home through the sodium-lit streets, my phone unblocked itself in my pocket. Ethan's doing. No doubt. The text lit up. Brunch skipped? And WTF is this Penthouse rumor?
Call me. Now.
I let it sit unread till morning. Let him stew. Day 2 of my resurrection dawned with a vengeance. The Penthouse closing dragged like a filibuster. But by week's end, the keys were mine, heavy, cold brass that felt like shackles turned weapons. I didn't move in right away. Instead, I staged it. Hired a designer to flood the space with mid-century modern edge, Eames lounges in buttery leather, abstract Warhols on the walls, knockoffs. But who cares? And a bar cart stocked with top-shelf everything. Then the invites, not to a housewarming, but a strategic summit. Targets? The very donors Ethan was courting. The ones whose money greased his path to power. First guest, Harlan Voss. Pharma kingpin with a smile like a used car salesman and a rap sheet longer than the National Mall. Last life. He'd funneled cash through me to Ethan, then testified against me when the feds came knocking, perjury for a plea deal. This time, I greeted him at the door in a crimson-sheath dress that hugged like a promise, extending a hand dripping with the Kensington charm I'd honed over years of schmoozing. Harlan, darling. So glad you could make it. Scotch? Neat. I presume. His eyes lingered a beat too long, but he played the game. Arabella. Heard you went big. This view. It's criminal. We toured the place like old flames. Me dropping hints about investment opportunities in green pharma, ironic, given his fossil fuel ties. But the real play was the Whisper Network. Over oysters and view. I floated questions. Heard Ethan's pack is hitting some snags. Donor fatigue. Voss chuckled, but his grip tightened on the flute. Your brother's ambitious. Sometimes too much. By the third round, he was spilling Ethan's pressure tactics. The quid pro quo threats veiled as partnerships. I recorded it all, subtly. Phone tucked in my clutch like a guilty secret. Javi would eat this up. Ethan crashed the party uninvited. Of course. I'd known he would. A mutual donor tipped him off. Probably for brownie points. The elevator dinged mid-conversation. And there he was, 6'2" of tailored Brooks Brothers and bottled rage. Hair gelled to perfection despite the sweat beading on his brow. Bella. His voice sliced the room like a gavel. Guests froze. Champagne flutes hovering. A word. I excused myself with a laugh like breaking glass. Brother dearest. Fashionably late. We stepped onto the balcony. The city sprawl mocking us from below, monuments to dead white men who built empires on lies. Ethan rounded on me. Voice a hiss. What the hell is this? Schmoozing my donors? In our parents' name? Our parents. The lie burned. Last I checked, the Kensington legacy's a family affair. Or did you trademark it when you buried Dad's real story? His face paled, then flushed crimson.
Don't.
You know why. I know you killed him. The words hung, toxic as exhaust fumes. Guests inside pretended not to hear, but DC thrived on eavesdrop scandals. Ethan's laugh was brittle.
Accident.
Grief talking. But this? He jabbed a finger at the penthouse. You're unhinged. Buying this on credit? It'll tank you. Cash. Actually. And it's mine. I leaned in, voice velvet over steel. Touch it, and I unravel everything. The pack. The cover-up. All of it. He searched my eyes, confusion flickering because last time I'd folded like origami. This Bella? She had death's clarity. You're bluffing. Test me. I turned back to the party, leaving him adrift in the wind whipping off the river. That night, alone in the echoing vastness, I cracked. Paced the marble floors till dawn. Ghosts of what-ifs clawing at me. What if exposing him destroyed us both? The family name. The fragile empire Dad built from nothing. A scrappy immigrant kid turned hill powerhouse. Ethan's Senate run was his shot at immortality, at redeeming the blood on his hands. But mercy? After the pillow? The framed job?
Nah.
This was justice. American style, raw, litigious, and zero-sum. Javi called it sunrise. Voice gravelly. Got your tape. FEC's interested, quietly. But Bella, Ethan's lawyering up. He's circling wagons, painting you as the jealous sibling. Let him. I'd leaked the op-ed that afternoon. Kensington corruption, a sister's warning, anonymized but laced with details only family would know. By noon, it hit the Post site, shares exploding like fireworks on the 4th. Ethan's freakout was biblical. He stormed my old apartment, keys still from the brownstone days, pounding on the door till neighbors complained. I watched from across the street, hidden in a coffee shop, as cops hauled him away for disturbing the peace. Viral video by evening. Sion's son's meltdown over sister's success? The backlash hit like a nor'easter. Pundits on CNN dissected our dysfunctional dynasty, therapists on TikTok diagnosing sibling rivalry on steroids. Ethan went radio silent. But his proxies didn't. Emails from campaign staff begging me to stand down for unity. I forwarded them to Javi. Week 3 blurred into a fever dream of depositions and donor defections. Voss pulled his funding, citing ethical concerns. Ethan's polls tanked, 20 points overnight. I moved into the penthouse officially, christening it with a solo toast to the river, to second chances. But crack showed. Sleepless nights replayed the smothering, Ethan's whisper echoing. Was I becoming him? Ruthless. Cornered? A late-night call from Lila confirmed it. He's spiraling. Bella. Talking suicide. The accident. He was protecting you too.
You know.
From the truth. Protecting me? Bullshit. Or was it? Dad's journals, hidden in the brownstone attic. I'd found them post-resurrection. Piecing the puzzle. Dad knew about the crash. Had confronted Ethan weeks before. Handle it, he'd said. Ethan's cover-up was Dad's final directive. The family code. I'd been the blind one, idolizing the brother who shielded me from the monster he became. Doubt gnawed, but momentum carried me. The FEC raid hit Ethan's office like thunder, agents in windbreakers carting boxes, cameras flashing. He called from lockup, voice shattered.
Bella. Please.
It's over.
Just. Tell them it was my idea.
The pack. Everything. I met him in a sterile visitor's room. Plexiglass between us like the chasm we'd dug. He looked hollowed out, the golden boy reduced to orange scrubs and stubble. Why? He rasped. The penthouse. It was the trigger, wasn't it? You always wanted what I had.
No.
I pressed my palm to the glass. You took what was mine. The truth. The life.
Pause.
Dad's death. I carried that alone. His eyes welled, real tears. Not the performative kind. I was scared.
Hi.
Stupid. He made me promise to lead, to fix it. But I fucked up. The pack. It was for us. Legacy. Lies. But my voice cracked. The twist hit then. Visceral. He wasn't pure evil. Just broken. Like me. The smothering? Panic. Not malice, framing me to force a deal. Then tying off the loose end when I wouldn't fold. Forgive me, he whispered. Decisions clawed. Expose the crash. End him forever. Or mercy, a plea deal. Therapy, a quiet fade. Controversial? In DC's meat grinder. Yeah. Family over justice? The American dream's dirtiest secret. I release you, I said finally. Not forgiveness, survival. Javi pulled strings, charges dropped to misdemeanor fraud. Ethan entered rehab, vanished from public life. The penthouse? I sold it at profit, funding a pack of my own clean, for women's rights on the Hill. Months later, from my new modest row house in Capitol Hill, I watched the cherry blossoms bloom. Ethan wrote once, "Thanks for not breaking us." I burned the letter. Second lives demand hard choices. But damn if they don't taste like freedom.